Hi everyone, it's Peter from PS Sound and Guttis. Come on, now I'm advertising your Instagram account. What is GMR Works?
So my name is Guttis Max. R stands for resonance.
Okay,
So
I see.
there's a lot of.
So this car may not be new to everyone. Some people might have already seen some madness from this Audi A4, especially those who are familiar with the proper dropper format, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been competing in that format now for a good while, and people know that you are one of the crazy ones who is pushing the single enclosure in the boot class and doing crazy numbers. So before you had one single 18 in a boot enclosure that was filling up the whole boot. What's the limitation in the class? How big can the box be?
So basically this class is BBX now. It's the height. If you go all the way up to the roof, that's BBX.
So you could go even higher if you wanted to.
If it's BB6, that means it can be 2 inches above rearmost seat, not including the headrests.
Like what you have right now.
So this is just above now. So if I drop these box on a different runners there,
then you would meet that class.
Then I would be in BB6. Then. So, but BB6 is limited to 215, so 118 you can't have more.
But now you cannot be in BB6.
But this setup now, so I'll have to take the box out, put different runners in.
But wouldn't that be a more competitive class for you?
Yeah, of course, because it's the.
But you just didn't want to build.
It's not as high in BB6.
Oh yeah.
You can put so much more.
But you also wanted to build a box that ticks the boxes for you because you want to play low.
No, absolutely.
And even those couple of inches matter a lot to get enough airspace for the drivers. So maybe we show the SPL side of the build of this car to you guys. But I'm showing this car to you because Guttis came to me this summer. Was it when? When was it when we tuned the front end?
Yeah, it wasn't this summer. It was last.
Was it last? A year ago? More than a year ago. Wow.
It was quick, doesn't it?
So originally he had these 4KL Utopia, the old Utopia mid-bass drivers in a sealed enclosure he built himself. So at least he has less rattles and buzzes. And they certainly kick a lot, especially as you have a B2 amplifier running them?
B2 1000.2, so 1000 watt amplifier.
So you have 500 watts on on each side or something like that, I guess?
Yeah.
So shitloads of power for the pair of 6.5, and they certainly kick crazy. So originally when I tuned it last summer, you only had these two with those DD tweeters, digital design tweeters, and the format was only two-way like that. And it didn't sound quite right until we tuned it. Then everyone was quite stunned how good it sounded straight away, yeah?
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, even without mid-range, I was.
And even with the bit one.
Yeah.
Because you had the bit one at that time,
and we had some old Rockford Fosgate amplifier running them as well. But
it did a good job. We set it up and it sounded nice. Everyone complimented it in the lanes. It wasn't a pure sound quality build, that's for sure. But
yeah, it sounded incredible to me. Going from what I was trying to tune with all this on the SP. But
we managed to make a big difference even then last summer. And then along the line, we've been talking about upgrading things. You wanted a different amplifier, a smaller amplifier, because you also ran out of space now with the two monoblocks underneath the sub enclosure.
That's right.
And you wanted a small amp, and I said, you know what? Why don't we throw in? Because originally you wanted the small Steg, not the Steg, the SbAcoustics.
SbAcoustics, 2-channel one.
The 2-channel SQ, ST2X SQ.
Replace my Rockford.
But I thought to Guttis, you know what? I have these beautiful little Steg amps. They are 4-channel, and I think that was the point when I was kicking you slightly come on, we have 4 channels. Let's do a 3-way front end.
Yeah, it was an idea about it, and it was in plans, but not so early. The plans were to do it a bit later.
Yeah, but now we transformed the front end big time. We will go through that in a second. But let's go to the boot, because that is quite something. So
it's not fully finished yet.
Yeah. Just to make it clear, he built everything, guys. this chap built everything himself in this, and this is a monster build. I'm gonna have to insert pictures into the video to show what's underneath, because that's probably the sexiest part of the build, and people can't see that unless you show pictures. But there's no other way to keep everything in the boot, because you still use this car for long trips with 2 kids. And where do you put the luggages? Oh yeah, you have a roof box.
A roof box, yeah. Roof box. Roof box, you can do that, yeah.
Traveling with 2 15s now. So tell us something about these.
So the FI Audi or 4.11 15s, these are the flagship, you know, as big and as powerful as they do. Fully loaded, as they call, with all the cooling and inductance mitigation options, and with custom paint on them. Yeah, they can be ordered like this. You can choose any paint you want on them as well. This is nothing like hybrid or anything. You can buy these actually like that.
Yep. Crazy subs. So you are running now one of these each of a Banda 15K.
It will be, yeah.
Because
at the moment there's only
one still missing there. There's one there, and it's as long as the whole boot, pretty much. Yeah. It's big. Well, from the pictures inserted, people will see that huge monoblock. It's a big noisy bastard because it has pretty loud fans, which is not an issue, because when you play this system, you hear none of that.
No,
you hear none of that fan noise. Although they also threw a bit of noise onto the front end when the sub amps are on. Sadly, because you have how many runs of 0 gauge to the amp? So what are you running?
They're not 0 gauge. They are well, they're 95 square millimeter. Well, they're actually more than that. But
so it's dual, triple zero.
There's 2 runs like that from the alternator to lithium at the back, and one same run, one run like that with the ground, and then also the car chassis.
Okay. A lot of wiring.
Yeah.
How many amp hour Yinglong cells do you have?
It's 160 amp hours, 4 banks, but yeah, obviously the runs don't need to be crazy from alternator, because there's only 285 amp alternator.
You're running mainly from battery supply.
Yeah, but then there's double dual inputs from the lithium to amplifier.
Yeah.
So that's
shitloads.
like 400 square millimeters.
You haven't clamped each monoblock how much ampere, how many amp they pull?
Yeah,
Not
so
yet,
we can, on a previous setup with 118, it was doing like over 12k, I think, clamped. So obviously that would be
okay.
How much current? It would be close to 1000 amps.
Yeah,
could be
easily close
Depends
to that. On 14 volt, maybe a bit less, but yeah, you are playing with serious levels. And just so people know, you are the second currently?
Second in the world in the BB6, and fifth now in the world, I think, in BBX, and the loudest in UK in BBX. All the other cars are, I think, there's in Finland and Poland.
Yeah, because in proper droppers, those who don't know, the guys play 20, 25, 33 and 40 hertz, and they average those 4 scores, and then obviously the highest average is a record holder. However, why this car is a bit more special than most SbA cars is because Gottis loves the lows, and many people can build a system where the average comes out of the 4 scores slightly differently. It's easier to push the 40 and 33 in most cars. 25 gets weaker, and then 20 is usually rather weak in most cars. This sub setup is the opposite, because you're not that interested in the 40. 33 is coming alive, and then 25 is where you are really fucking pushing mental levels, and 20 is still there. So currently, now there's an unofficial metering on this with a single monoblock, right?
Yeah, we're running 1 coil of each sub on this monoblock, the way it's set up, because it's going to run 2 amps, it's going to run a coil on each sub. It can load out better that way. So
yeah. But you already measured what, 156?
Yeah, I did 151 at 20 and 156.28, I think, at 25.
Oh my god. I sat in this car with the previous single 18 when you were doing 155, right?
Yeah.
With music, this is one of the windiest machines from a boot build I've ever experienced. It's not trying to kill you at the upper bass, it's not trying to grab your throat, crash your chest, but the wind this car is generating and how smooth and butter smooth the low end extension is something that all those SQ fanatics who like a bit of output too, they all cry for that. They want that really smooth extension, effortless extension, and this setup certainly does that. And now we tuned the front end, and at the end, of course, we integrated the subs. And when you have the right level, of course, yeah, you have so much headroom that you have to turn the subs down crazily. When you have the right level, actually, these subs are pretty musical. And then you were really interested in that, what I would say, because when you play when you play hip hop or drum and bass or certain musical genres where you have long elongated notes just floating like buh, buh, then that's easy. That's easy to play with any sub setup. But when you play really tight bass, rhythmic, high BPM music like psytrance, techno, anything like that, where you have tight kick, or rock music, we haven't listened to rock, but on all those genres, you need subs which don't lag, they don't have overhang. And usually ported boxes can do that because most ported enclosures are tuned high. They also fall into then the cabin resonance, which also pushes the subs, and then you end up with such a delay, such a group delay on the setup, that you can never really align those to a so-called SQ front end. Whereas this has a low tune. Guys, this car peaks, when it's all sealed up, peaks at 21 hertz in the cabin.
Yeah, port is tuned at 24 hertz.
Yeah, but usually even with IB setup, my car peaks at 34, and with one window down or cabin opened, okay, the Honda was peaking at 15. That was silly, which made it also one of those demo monsters that people were always amazed how smooth the bottom end of the system was, super effortless at the low end. Because the Honda was peaking at 15, but it was only a couple of dB less even at 12.
I remember, yeah, when I had a listen the first time, I was well impressed. It was incredible.
Smooth, very smooth. Okay, as most enclosures on the tuning frequency, they really drop 24 dB and they unload. So even this in the cabin down to 20 is good. 18 is still there and it still plays at 15, but then the subs quickly unload. So you have to be careful when you go silly levels. But above 20, this is a monster. And that's the trick, because this is a low tune box with the group delay at the low end. Yeah. You don't have problem above 60 hertz where they have to integrate to the front end, and they truly play fast. So stunning.
Yeah,
honestly.
Neo as well, and powerful motors. They are...
This setup in the season time will be a demo monster. Everyone will want to and have to and should be advised to listen to this car, because it's beautiful. Especially as now a SbAcoustics DSP 4 Mark II went in, the Z84 Mark II went in, 8-channel DSP. So that runs now the freeway front end and the subs. So what did we add? Just jump in quickly here. So, okay, this is something that people don't see from me too often. Here we certainly had limitations on budget, because as we know, fabrication, equipment, and then you bought a new DSP, a new 4-channel amp. Prices go up, they add up, and we were looking at what we could use, which are budget friendly, sound nice, and they can go loud too. To be fair, regardless of budget, there are not many speakers that are happy to play really, really loud. Most of the sound quality speakers, tweeters and mids, they can go loud. And most sound quality people would say that, oh, this is loud enough, this is crazy loud. But when you have 150 plus dB sub setup, the perspective changes completely. It's one thing to have a front end that can keep up with 135, 140 dB bass. And there's another level where you have what you have. And that's where even an extra 3 dB or an extra 5 dB that the front end can deliver especially you have dual 6.5s, you can certainly have more kick to keep up with the front end. We also needed speakers that are more sensitive and can go louder. So these are the little SbAcoustic, whatever the tweeter is, SB29 RDNC, little
I don't even know.
ring radiator tweeters that I used before. The last car that you guys might have seen these in was the BMW E91, which had two, same way, they had the FI, the BTL 12s.
12s, yeah.
That's where we used two of these in the doors, where we had two 6x9s at the end of the door and the tweeters at the front. That was the only way to locate those 6x9s in that really shallow space in the E91, because in the E91 the door has a weird shape and at the front it narrows down.
Yeah,
so at the front you wouldn't be able to put mid-bass drivers in, or really small ones like 5.25. So we had to locate the two 6x9s at the end. That way the 6x9s are technically 8-inch drivers, larger. We had more kick, more bass. And then we had the tweeters up front, aimed one out, one in. So that was also designed for sound quality loud. And these tweeters, even in that car, sound, well, I could quote few guys from the SPL lanes, and they were saying it sounds so hi-fi, like home hi-fi like. And certainly these speakers are beautiful for the price tag. There's not much else you could buy from car audio brands. Because how much were these? 50 quid?
They were
Something
around
like that.
£50 each.
50 pounds each,
Yeah.
and from 100 a pair, you would get nothing that I would call even somewhat acceptable or listenable.
Yeah, I
Whereas
think
these
even
sound
these,
nice.
DD audio tweeters, they're over £200.
Yeah. But these tweeters sound nice. The only problem with most home audio speakers is that they are just larger in size. Not in every case, because then ScanSpeak has small format tweeters. They cost a bit more. But these SBs are beautiful. I always like them. Then the mid-range. So we knew that budget had to be met. And the 10F is not something that people haven't seen before. The ScanSpeak 10F is a beautiful wideband speaker. And weirdly, when wideband speakers are usually are less sensitive, because making a speaker that can go wideband and tweeter less usually comes with the sacrifice of having less sensitivity. Whereas these actually have great sensitivity. They are pretty sensitive drivers. The only limitation with them, especially those who have used them, is that you can't cross them low. You can't cross them at like 170, 180, like in some sound quality cars like the Micro Precision 5 Series Mid or some of the Stegs we have used. They can be crossed at like 180, 200, and they can deal with it at SQ loud levels.
Mm-hmm.
But these speakers don't want to be crossed below 250-ish, rather 300 to have low distortion on them. Well, we don't have that problem because we can play these up to 300 Hertz now. And we also knew that this setup has to go loud, so these are crossed at 300, so they can deal with that. And we have extreme output from these pillars now. Not that you won't find a level with the subs at the back that they will just
disappear.
Take over and the front end will disappear, because that's really difficult to build a front end where they can really keep up. But to be fair, those levels at the front end screw you up. You will lose your hearing in very short time.
Yeah, I don't think I would want that.
When you have those,
yeah.
when you have those American guys like Bobby, what's his name? Bobby Gately.
Yeah.
One of his crazy builds in a truck where they have 4 mids with 4 tweeters, or even more, 6. I'm sure you've seen that beautiful,
I think I've seen builds
beautiful
like that.
installation. Looks stunning with crazy bullet tweeters, and I'm like, oh my god,
Must be painful.
that. I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm sure that's crazy loud, and I don't want to lose my hearing. Even with this now, with this
I think
alignment.
that's probably set up for just a short demo, I'm sure, if it's like that.
Yeah, but those guys sit in that car demoing it, or do they use earplugs? Hopefully. But even this setup, we really tested it, we cranked it, we created different presets. This setup is really loud. and sounds nice, really nice. If you want to know what happened with the tuning and what the drivers are doing, how this car is behaving, I'm going to share the RT evaluation of this car on Patreon, like we always do. Then you can see it there. You can see what the drivers were doing, how the system got put together. So you can find a description to the Patreon channel in description. And you will definitely see that. I know now people would want to see us demoing it, but it's just not that time. It's Saturday, 7 p.m. at the workshop. I can't demo cars like this, even if people wanted to.
Yeah, and if we go somewhere else, it's just dark. It will be able to
Yeah, outside now it's winter time.
yeah.
Plus it's -3 outside, and in the dark, what can you demo? How can you?
I'm sure we get one later at some point.
We will see you in the future. That's for sure. We will have meetings down in Brighton as well. Although I don't know how I can get you to your sound quality meet, because as soon as you start playing, you will destroy any car park
Yeah, we
or
need to be somewhere further away from,
yeah. But
buildings.
people will want to see it. Oh, I have to show this situation as well. Come on, tell us a little bit about
Right,
this.
so what's the most probably interesting is 2 voltmeters. Those show the output of the amplifiers into subwoofers. At the moment, only one's playing, obviously, because 1 amp is there. That's basically for when I'm demoing. I don't want to see going over 100 volts there. That way, I'm not safe. I'm not going over like 5k or more.
What's the maximum voltage you've seen?
Maximum? I mean, that Banda no load can do 280 volts no load
Holy
voltage.
shit.
But,
So yeah, above 200 volts, you could literally
loaded
stick your
1
subs
ohm,
into a wall socket.
1 ohm, slightly above 1 ohm. It's clean up to 155 volts. Above
Okay.
that, I think I've seen 165 when I go into slide clip, pulling like doing
Okay.
like 13k on 180.
Jeez.
And then there's SMD voltmeter, which is really quick, and it shows me again not
Very
that I
quick
need
drops.
it, but it
Because this
shows
is not as quick.
yeah, and that is just to see what it's nice to look at to see what the voltage is actually doing, because yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, for systems like yours, it's a must. You have to see the voltage. For SQ guys, it's not as important. Nowadays on like Helix Director, you can see the voltage on the display. On SbAcoustics DSP5 controller, you can see the voltage on the display. So that's perfectly enough for the guys, because they don't have big voltage fluctuations, but you can have big drops here. However, with your lithium pack, you don't see much drop, do you?
No, only when it's going into like 10k, then I will.
So now this is low, because we had the system on all day. Usually you float at what, 15?
Yeah, 15. Yeah, it's charging at 15.2.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's normally 15.1, 15.
So one hell of a crazy system, guys, that's for sure. You will have to listen to this, and next year I will find time and occasion to demo this to you. We will do, I don't know, I can't even record this system with sound quality microphones, because it will be just distortion. I think what people may want to see from this is some crazy flex from your subs, crazy flex, and crazy hair tricks, because this definitely can do that. Oh, another thing. Oh, come on. We have to show that view, because you also have to tell people something about your roof. Right?
Yeah,
it's not just trimmed.
Yeah, there's 2 layers of 18mm plywood there.
Laminated up to the roof. Fucking hell. How many supports did you have to stick it up?
Support.
How did you put it up?
Well, yeah, so it obviously has expanding foam, then it has a tiger seal around like edges, and it's actually the way this car roof is, there's like a on the sides there's like a lip, so you can actually rests on them.
Oh, okay.
It's not just glued up. And there's a box section on top of the windscreen, like a steel box section.
Yeah, that's how you can do crazy numbers.
Not
Yeah, I always tell people that getting numbers, especially at low frequency, is not just like throwing a big box into the boot with big power and then off you go. Anyone can have money, can buy lithium these days, big monoblocks, great subs, but the real numbers come from proper build, the installation. Although you have your own tricks as well, how you can deliver a few more dBs, how to tighten up the doors or loosen the doors, things like that.
Yeah, that's all done in many hours of testing. A lot of plywood in this car for sure.
That's a solid tag. There's a lot of work put into this car, that's for sure. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, by the way, guys, if you're wondering, those are 2 little torches in the port to give a bit of light inside of the box, because the enclosure is not finished yet, and you haven't put in the LEDs.
Not yet, yeah.
Not yet, and you have to decide how you are going to finish this. But even like this, without any finish, it looks nice. I think it's just one of those things people like to see, the layers of birch. And
yeah, I'm not too sure how I'm gonna finish it yet. Yeah, I'd like to see the birch as well. And
although
we'll
yeah,
see.
I gotta say that this idea to have a plexi port so you can see through it.
That was the only way I could be able to somehow to show the.
Look at that, guys, beautifully smoothened off for
subwoofers.
perfect airflow. That I had a bit of inspiration in.
Yeah.
Getting
that was
ports
your
like
part
that.
into
I was years ago. When
Yeah.
when did you build the 8?
Yeah, if you look in there, you're probably not going to be able to see the bottom of the port, but there's a slight raised, like you would see the perfect roundness of it. It's not just straight; it also has this same shape.
Yeah, you have
on the
flare
bottom of the
on the
port,
inside
which was your tip.
throughout.
Yeah. It works very
Yeah.
well.
You have to have flare throughout the whole port, in the corners, at the end, at the front.
Yeah, better airflow.
This was machined off with a bad sander, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't get such a big router
Well,
bit, and even
yeah,
if you had
started
such a
with
big
router
router bit,
build, then
it would be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because this is, what is it, like 2 inches probably to get it off.
Yeah. That's about
It's
that.
large.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna leave it here, guys, but I wanted to show this to you just to get a bit of inspiration. Check out, God, this is Instagram. You will see many beautiful pictures there of his previous creations, and there are a few pics of this one too already, right?
Yeah.
there
There.
are some. We will share pictures of the pillars as well here and
Yeah,
there.
but-
Plus, I will drop in the build pictures to the end of this video, and then people will see how we build the pillars in extremely short time. Because I think we've done the pillars in like 13, 14 hours. We started late,
1.5 day. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
but we started late
I did help
on
the big
Friday. On
didn't
Friday
do
we
too
started
much,
at
really.
like 10:30, because you remember we had the ST500
Oh, yes.
here.
Yeah, right.
Tony left.
Yeah.
We had breakfast, and then we kicked off at around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Pushed it till 7:30, so that was, let's say, 8 hours solid. You helped a bit, and then the following day we were done by the afternoon.
Yeah,
We had
finished
another-
off and then had
we
to
had
do some extreme stretching of.
Oh,
Yeah.
the trimming on these pillars was quite something with those large tweeters.
It's not going to even work out at some point, but
so,
managed to get it out.
Well,
Straight.
overall, with your help, I think these pillars were trimmed and done and everything in 16 hours. Now that's a bit extreme, but okay, we designed the mounting rings beforehand, we 3D printed them. We knew that this would be a challenge, and I would never really want to do pillars like these so quick, because it's just crazy. You can feel it on your body, on your mental health, everything. But yeah, last time we couldn't feed the speakers, so we had to come back to it, feed the speakers now, tune the car. And you see, we started even today at after 11:30, and now we finished the tuning at 6:30. So
Took a while.
overall, because we had to feed the speakers, termination, whatnot, an extra 7 hours went into it. That's part of pillar installation, to be fair. So yeah, a good 25 hours, including fitment of speakers.
Yeah, it was much quicker last time, but it was just tweeter and I didn't have subwoofer with me as well.
Yeah.
So
So
it was just-
this was put together quick now to be transformed at the front end, and it definitely sounds beautiful. Yeah, so here it is, guys. One crazy setup. Crazy setup. I'm going to leave it here, guys. Feel free to share it. Definitely share this build. Tell it to your friends who need inspiration from this, who want nice front end and want crazy bass too. Comment, do the usual things, and then I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
back.